This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Yep, the 140 is still in this absolute state. But not for long, because today we will start the 140i build. Now, we pretty much can confirm that this car was stolen and then recovered. It looks like it's been stripped for parts. As for all the dust on the interior, well, we think that was caused by a fire extinguisher, as you guys have been saying that if you spray fire extinguisher inside a car, it can get rid of your fingerprints, or they're really hard to trace. But the spray from the fire extinguisher can be corrosive and cause damage to the electric, so we need to get that sorted as soon as possible. Now, we know this car's been modified in the past because we've seen an upgraded anti-roll bar and also eye-back springs, some eye-back lowering springs which have just been put on it. The wheels have obviously been taken off. These look like have just been plonked on by the auction. The tyres are completely bald and we definitely won't be keeping them. Now, despite all the bad news, the good news is that it starts and it drives. But there's no exhaust. Okay, so there's two ways we could have gone with this 140i. We know we don't have a front end. We know we're missing some parts here and there. We found some parts in the car, but we could have replaced it with all standard M140i parts. But the other way we could have gone with this would be to do something crazy with it, and, well, of course, I chose the crazy route. So right here, next to my BMW M4, which I fitted an M3 front end to, I've got a BMW M2 competition, bonnet, two wings, and the bumper, which is up there. I just enjoy making it difficult for myself, but if it pays off, I know it's gonna look really good. I also have the M2 competition headlights as well, but we know how headlights go on this channel. But before we start cleaning and fixing this whole thing up and fitting the M2 front end, we have no history on this thing at all. So first things first, just to be safe, we need to service the thing. So I've got spark plugs, oil, and oil filter. Let's get this thing serviced. First step was to remove all the trim and the rubber at the back of the engine, because there's a spark plug right at the back which would be really difficult to get to if it was all in. Then we can remove the bolts for the coil pack, pull them out. Then I needed a special 14mm socket which was really thin so it could go down and loosen the spark plug. And from removing the spark plug, we can see that probably this has never been changed before. And then here's a fresh NGK one. Now there's 6 cylinders, so we're doing this 6 times over. Back on with the coil packs, plug all the electrical connectors in, and back in with the bolts. Up we go with the ramp, then it's time to remove the under tray. And this time the sump is all in one piece, unlike the M4. We've just got to loosen this bolt here to drain all the oil out. And once the oil's drained out, it's time to remove the oil filter, which is right at the back of the engine. I've got my special little oil filter removal tool. Unscrew the oil filter. Out with the old one. And in with the new one. I can then put the sump plug back in, and then it's in with the fresh oil, all 6 litres of it. And then I can freshen the engine up with some SILISHINE, links in the description. Usually I change the air filter on the service, but something tells me we're going to be fitting an induction kit later down the line to this. I managed to pick up a brand used engine cover off eBay for just £30, and that's going to make a whole lot of difference to the engine bay. Okay, we are looking good. It's amazing how much engine cover and a bit of SILISHINE can make such a big difference. We've still got the under tray to put back on, but I want to start it first and check for any leaks. We can't check the oil level without starting it because the BMWs don't have any dipstick in them. So let's just check that first. Come on. Okay, so the engine has to be warm to measure the oil level, which is pretty stupid because if you've got low oil level but then you're warming the car up, you're going to do a lot of damage, but we'll wait for that. I assume I would have lights appearing all over the place if I didn't put enough oil in anyway. Okay, whilst we wait for the engines to get warm, it's a good time to show you guys the HWBT Talent group set, the long line t-shirts and the shorts as well. They've got reflective ink on the back. hard work beats talent, and they're available at mattarmstrong.co.uk. The link is in the description. Now, with YouTube being my full-time job now, there's loads of things I stress about. You know, like filming, editing, getting the content out on time, doing Photoshop. But there's one thing that I don't necessarily have to stress about anymore, and that is building a website. And that is all thanks to Squarespace, who have sponsored today's video. From websites to online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build and run your business. I say it to you guys at least once every month. Websites are so important for whatever business you run. It can be the first point of contact, and if you don't have a website, or a professional looking one at least, then you're going to lose customers, which is where Squarespace comes in to help. Check this out. So when starting a website with Squarespace, there's hundreds of templates to start from. I'm going to start with this one. You can then go in, edit your website, drag and drop your logos in there. You can then remove text or add your own photos in there. It's as simple as that. I can edit the text. I can also add buttons in there wherever I like. I can even add my own YouTube videos on the website. There's a bunch of tools on the left hand side to grow your business, like email campaigns and marketing tools. It really is the all-in-one platform. So when you need a website, go to squarespace.com or click the link in the description box below. Use code MattArmstrong and you're going to get 10% of your first website or domain name. Once again, thanks Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Right, let's go check this oil level. And we are looking good. Yes. Now, on to the exciting stuff. Okay, so this right here is a full BMW M2 competition front end. Now, if you're watching this and you're unfamiliar with what a BMW M140i front end actually looks like, normally, this is what it looks like. Pretty average, right? But this is what an M2 competition front end looks like. It's way more aggressive, there's more sharp lines in it, but most importantly, it's wider than the 140i. The arch actually comes out a lot more. Now, on the M2, the rear arch actually does it as well, but on the 140i it doesn't. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do about that yet, but I think the 140i is going to look so good with an M2 competition front end. Now, I've seen a few pictures going around the internet of someone who's actually done this before, but as far as I know, it wasn't really documented, so I don't exactly know whether there's anything that needed to be modified or not, but you know me, I'm willing to give it a go. So we're just going to try it and, well, wing it as we go along. I know you guys want this interior sorting as soon as possible. Believe me, so do I. But I've got slicks coming very soon, so we'll get onto that. I'm just excited to try and fit this and see if it works. M2 headlights on a 140i, I don't know. I think that's asking for trouble. But let's get to it. Come on. So a full front end off a BMW M2 competition cost me £3,000. It sounds expensive, but I also got the front radiator pack and a lot of stuff that I didn't really need, which I could then sell on and get part of that money back. So far the wings were going on quite nicely and seem to fit the way they should. The headlights was the same sort of story. Whether they'll work or not, I don't know. Regret it all. When I plugged in the passenger headlight, they seemed to start working before even starting the car. So we could be onto a winner. So the wings were on, then it's onto the bonnet. This is pretty difficult on your own, but somehow I managed. Then we've got to plug all the washer jets in, which are underneath the bonnet. Then this is the hard part, trying to get the panels to line up perfectly. I spent ages lowering the bonnet down, moving the wings, hiring the bonnet back up, moving the bonnet round, until finally I could get something which I was kind of happy with. Hoping you'll answer yours, baby. Let's talk until we're fine. Okay, this is starting to look sick. Look how much wider these are. Those wheels are absolutely making me crease. They look so lost in those arches. Look at them. Obviously they will be changed at some point. We can't keep them, that is a joke. But the front end is looking a lot more aggressive. We've still got the front end, the front bumper, sorry, to go on. But I just want to see, well, the chances of the headlights working are really low. But when I plugged that one in, the xenon lights did come on, well, the little rings, they did come on. So let's start it and just see if those lights actually will come on. If they do, it's a miracle, but I'm expecting them to be coded. Come on. Okay, here we go. Ignition on. And lights. Yeah, just as I thought. They're definitely going to need coding. Well, hopefully they just need coding, not rewiring. But alright, it's a good start, I'm still not 100% happy with this bonnet line on that side as compared to that side. I think it does need a bit of a jigging around, but I literally would be here all day trying to get it absolutely perfect. I wasn't very happy with this until I saw another M4 at a show and I realised it was exactly the same, and that is just how the panel gap is. But that one is uneven, which, well, isn't great, but as you guys know, if you've ever done it, it takes so long to get it perfect. Okay, now the bit that's going to finish the whole front end off, which is going to look absolutely banging, the front bumper. Let's hope this fits right. If it does, it's going to look sick. Let's get it on. Well, so far so good. I'd actually be surprised if this bumper went on without any problem. But there was a problem. Something was blocking it, and it turned out to be this little plastic intake at the bottom here. So all I did was remove it, and the bumper went on, well, pretty easily. Off I come with the wheels, so then I could fit the M2 arch line in. Which again, went in pretty easily. Down I come with the 140i, so I could fit the side skirts which are found inside the car. This is where I ran into an issue. These were the side skirts which were in the car, which I assume came off the 140i, but I don't think they agreed with the M2 wings. Okay, so it seems we've run into a first issue. We was bound to run into some sort of issue. It was going too smoothly. Check this out. So I've put on these side skirts which were inside the car, and they seem okay. They're not damaged or anything like that. I can only assume they've came off this car because, well, they seem to fit everywhere down to this point here. And the M2 looks like it was probably a little bit longer. Look, it's just coming up short there, and right here it's sitting pretty much flush. And it's the same story on this side. It is just a little bit too short. Now I have tried pushing the wing back, but if I push it back any further, it will clip the door. It will clip the door, and then you won't be able to open the door. So we're sort of stuck here. So I can't imagine the M2 side skirt fit into this because the M2's a coupe and this is a hatchback. I can't, well, I don't know what side skirt would fit to this, which leaves me with sort of, well, probably just one option, really. Okay, now this is the only option that I can think of, but if you've got any other ideas, let me know in the comment section below. I would think you could probably maybe cut the side skirt there somehow, extend it longer, then you'll have a gap, and then we sort of fill in the gap somehow. That may be a really stupid idea. It may work, it may not, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. And also, if you've enjoyed watching up to now, make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Okay, so before I show you the completed front end, we've got another little modification that we need to do. Now, I found these mirror caps inside the car, which are sort of like M3, M4 style. They look pretty much exactly the same on my M4. But one of you guys sent me these in the post, carbon mirror caps. I'll put your Instagram on the screen right now, so massive shout out for you for sending me them. Now, this is what I'm thinking. These are carbon, which I think they'd be better suited for the M4 with the carbon roof. So I may put these on the M4, and then those black ones, put them on the 140i. We also have these darkened indicators as well. I think they're like dynamic ones, so we'll replace these clear ones with the darker ones as well. So let's get on with it. So to remove the indicators, I was under the assumption that I had to remove the glass in the mirror, and I ended up breaking it. Turns out I didn't even actually have to remove the glass. Okay, the indicators are in. I'm just about to test whether they work before I put them all back together, because that was a bit of a pig, and yes, I cracked the glass. You know, one step forward, two step backs, that sort of thing. But the good news was they worked, so it was worth it. Kind of. Then time to put the mirror caps on, which just clipped in, and they look 10 times better. Okay, mirror caps are on there looking sick, minus the cracked mirror that I did, but we'll ignore that for now. Inside, well, it's looking a little bit sorry for itself, and I do really want to clean it, but I'm waiting for Slick's Car Care to come and work his magic, because I'll just probably make it worse. Right, the steering wheel is looking, well, a little bit sorry for itself, but we did find the airbag in the last video sitting in the car. It's also missing the flappy paddles on the back of the steering wheel. This is obviously a automatic, so I can change gear on the back of the steering wheel. But what I did find is in the back down here are the flappy paddle sort of shifters, oh my god, for the back of the steering wheel. Before I found the shifters, I actually ordered some new ones. I got like upgraded ones there from MMR Performance. They're a little bit longer than standard and they look better, they're aluminium. So we'll put the steering wheel back together and then we'll put these on as well and it should look pretty cool. Let's do it. First off, I've got to remove the steering wheel with the big 16mm bolt in the middle, unclip the electrical connectors and the steering wheel will come out. Then we've got to remove all the electrical side of the flappy paddles out of the old ones and put them in the new ones. There's just a little pin that you have to push out and then they simply just pull off. And then go straight onto the MMR flappy paddles. I can then connect them up to the steering wheel and they look lovely. Once both flappy paddles are on the steering wheel, I can then start connecting the steering wheel back onto the car. And of course I can clip the airbag back in as well. A little wipe down and then it's looking fresh. That is looking loads better. Hopefully it's taken that little restraint system light off. We won't know till I start it. I'm a bit nervous to start it just in case that dust does mess with any of the electrics in the airbag. So I'm going to start it outside. Okay, here we go. I'm not getting in it to start it. Foot on the brake. Jesus. Yes, we seem to be okay. What we got? Okay, we have got... Oh, we've still got the airbag light on. So we're going to have to plug it in and see what is causing that code. Unless it just has to be reset, just because it's been off with the airbag off, I don't know. Any other warning lights? Just the airbag light. We've got the TPMS sensor, that's because obviously these wheels are obviously not the original wheels, and an engine management light, which is probably something to do with the lack of exhaust. Anyway, I'm dying to show you guys the front of the car because it looks so good. It's completely transformed it, although we still have a lot to do. Let me go show you the front.
Hard to fade away.
Okay, I admit it does look a little bit weird at the minute, but bear with me. Obviously, it's not a finished product. We're far from the finished product. The M2 front end does look so sick, and it's so much more aggressive than a 140i front end, and that is sick. I'm actually surprised how easy it was to go on. Even the colour does look really nice, but I don't know whether we should keep this colour or not. Let me know in the comment section below. The front end now has completely been updated. It looks like a different car. Well, it is a different car. As soon as you move to the right hand side here, well, that's where it all goes a little bit downhill. Well, a little bit, a lot. The wheels are obviously tragic. They are killing it at the minute, and well, obviously it just looks like the car's driven into another car. That is a completely different car from that wing backwards. These wheels now are absolutely hidden inside that arch, and well, we're obviously not going to keep them anyway, but I'm thinking maybe we go to some 19s or 18 inches there, and we're obviously going to have to widen the front. But on the M2 competition, the front arches are a lot wider, where on the 140 the rear arches, well, there's barely any flare to them at all. So any suggestions for that? Do we go for an M2 comp rear end as well? But that means we've got to widen it, and well, anything's possible, but it's going to give me a bigger headache. But other than that, I think we've made some really good progress on the 140i already. The engine seems good, fingers crossed, and now we have a front end, so it's starting to sort of come together. Remember, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with the M2 140i build, then hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that you've watched all the way up to this point now. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.